Hi, it's Maya here with my winter book haul, and these are all the books that I've bought since November last year and all the books that I have currently checked out from the library. And I will try to keep this brief so that I will not have to split it into two parts, but if it seems like this video will get too long, this part will be all the both books and the next part will be the library books. But I will just get started so that I don't have to split it up. So let's start with the physical books. I have only bought one physical book, and that was in January, so this month, and that was The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. This is a special edition illustrated by Chris Riddell, and that was the main reason why I had to buy this. Chris Riddell's illustrations are just so magical. I have heard great things about this book too, but the illustrations was the main reason I bought it for myself instead of reading it from the library or something. And it wasn't even that expensive for a hardback. It was about 12 euros, I think. And at the bookstore, that's the price for most of the English science fiction and fantasy paperbacks, so I think that was a good deal. And I think this is a young adult book. It tells of a girl who finds her father's notes and journals, and in these journals there's a mention or mentions of the lie tree, a tree that will tell you a truth if you tell it a lie, and the bigger the lie you tell, the bigger the truth revealed will be. So really excited to read this and see all the cool illustrations. I have one other physical book, and this one I won in a giveaway from Libby. Her channel is Libby Stevenson, and she had a giveaway for a signed copy of Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And this is a science fiction young adult book that got a lot of buzz on BookTube last year. So most of you probably know about this. So I think this tells of two kids on a spaceship with a rogue AI, but I could be mistaken. That's the general gist that I've gotten from other people's videos. And the story is told in these different sorts of ways. There are diagrams, there are journals, I think, there are chat logs or memorandums or things like that. And as you can see, it is a signed copy. Thank you so much, Libby. I'm so sorry for the postage all the way to Finland. Then let's move on to all the ebooks that I've bought since November, and that's a lot more than the physical books. I think I've only bought one of these at full price, and most of them have been on sale for the Kindle, or then they have been novellas that are not that expensive to start with. So the first book I picked up, and this was the one that I picked up at full price, was Musketeer Space by Tansy Rayner Roberts. So it's a retelling of the Three Musketeers, but as a space opera with some of the genders swapped. I also picked up a Tour.com novella. This is Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal. And this is a science fiction story about memory. And it's set in the future where people can continuously upload their memories into a cloud, so they have videos of their memories and they can always go back and look at them. And they also have an AI in their head. But the main character, who is an antique dealer, gets kidnapped and her memory recording doesn't work during that time. I also picked up The Firestone by Tanya Huff. This is a high fantasy book that I picked up mostly because I have never read anything from Tanya Huff. The next book I picked up was No Good Dragon Goes Unpunished by Rachel Aaron. And this is the third book in the Heartstrikers series. I have all three. I think there are 4 out currently. I have picked them up because when she releases a new one, the previous one most often goes on sale. So I bought 3 of them from sale, even though I haven't even read the first one. But I have read the author's science fiction books, her Paradox trilogy that she writes under Rachel Bach. And those are quite fun, so I thought these would be as well. And then I picked up a horror book called Experimental Film by Gemma Files. I picked this one up because Thomas from SFF 180 did a great review of it. I will link it for you. Go watch it if you're interested in horror books. When it came on sale, of course, I had to buy it. Another book that I picked up on recommendation was The Awesome by Eva Darrows. And this is about a girl whose family is monster hunters, and it's a young adult book, and Elizabeth from Books and Pieces said it's a lot of fun, so that's why I picked it up. Then I also picked up Nine Fox Gambit when it came on sale by Yoon Ha Lee. This is a book that I only heard good things about, and I also have it currently out from the library, but I wanted to buy my own copy also. So this is a science fiction book about a soldier who gets another consciousness implanted on her brain. Then there's a couple of science fiction and fantasy classics that I got for free. Again, it was Thomas from SFF 180 who said on Twitter that there were a lot of classic science fiction and fantasy books for free at the time for Kindle, so I scoured the pages and picked up 2 by Elizabeth A. Lynn. And the first is The Woman Who Loved the Moon and Other Stories, and this is a collection of her fantasy and science fiction short stories, including The Woman Who Loved the Moon, which won the World Fantasy Award when it came out. And the other book that I picked from her was a science fiction novel called A Different Light, and this is about a main character who has cancer, and Earth has solved the problem of cancer so that if the main character stays on Earth and takes medication, he can live for about 20 years. But if he leaves, he will live only for 1 year or so. But he wants to leave in order to find his former lover, the star captain Russell O'Neill. So Elizabeth Allen was born in 1946 and she started writing in the 70s, and Goodreads says that she is particularly known for being one of the first writers in science fiction or fantasy to introduce gay and lesbian characters. So in the short story collection, the title story I think has a lesbian relationship and the science fiction novel has a gay relationship. Then another short story collection, The Wonders of the Invisible World by Patricia A. McKillip. These are her fantasy short stories. This was a Kindle Daily deal and I picked it up. I have read one novel from Patricia A. McKillip and I liked her writing style. Then for Christmas I got for my sister a gift card for Amazon, so of course I will spend it on Kindle books. And I picked up 2 Kindle books right after Christmas. And the first one I picked up was Of Sorrow and Such by Angela Slatter, and this is a Tour.com fantasy novella about witches and shapeshifters. I also picked up another Tour.com novella, The Lost Child of Lichford by Paul Cornell. I have read the first novella in this series called The Witches of Lichford and I really liked it, and I actually read this one also already. It was a lot creepier than the first one, but I still like the first one more. So this tells about a trio of witches in a small town of Lichford. And finally, I have picked up with the gift card money in January Ursula Le Guin's The Lathe of Heaven. At the same time as I was in the store where I picked up The Lie Tree, I was trying to decide what to buy, and this was one of the books that I was wondering about, because I know that our library doesn't have it in English. But then I searched for it on Amazon and found out that the ebook is pretty cheap, so I picked up the ebook instead. And this is a science fiction story, I think, about a guy whose dreams can become real, but I'm not sure. It's Ursula Le Guin, and a lot of people like this one of hers a lot, so I want to read it. So those were all the books that I have bought. I will definitely have to split this in 2 parts, so stay tuned for the next part with all of the library books that I have currently checked out. Bye for now.